Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1.
Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the schmoes know, this is DC Movie News, bringing you the most up-to-date discussion and commentary within the DC Universe.
And bam! What's up, everybody? Happy Friday to you if you're watching us live or if you're listening on the iTunes. Doesn't matter what day you're listening, we appreciate that you're listening, or if you're listening on Podcast One. Let's get right to that. Before we do anything, Here's what we're going to do, guys. Going to go to podcast1.com, and there's a survey. As soon as you go to that website, bam, click on that survey. It's going to take you about 5 minutes. It's going to be a little invasive. It's going to be interesting. But bottom line is, we need the support. So when you say what shows you listen to, click on DC Movie News and whatever else you listen to, and then just fill it out for us. It would do us a big favor. And while you're at it, say listen to Wrestling Compadres too. All right, moving on. Let's get to the show here. At Jay Quasto on the Twitter, at DC Movies SK on Twitter, Facebook.com/DC Movies SK, and we have so much to talk about. I have so many pages of stuff, it's ridiculous right now, so let's just get right to it. That man over there in the brown leather coat, he's back. You know him as Mike Kalinowski. You know him on Twitter as Mike Kalinowski. That's because he is an incredibly talented actor. He is Mike Kalinowski.
Top of the morning to everyone. I finally get a chance to say that.
The crowd goes wild.
What did we do to scare you away for so long?
Nothing. I wanted to be here. I always want to be here.
You're just a busy cat.
If I'm not here, it's just because something's going on.
Exactly.
I'm like, not sitting home watching it and going, no, suckers, I don't want to be there with them.
I kind of think that.
Life happens, man.
Life
happens.
It does.
And you know what else happens? Two people sometimes accidentally wear camouflage to set. And people are going to talk about, oh, they dressed each other. No, we didn't, actually. We both wore camo to set, and Roxy thought about changing. I said, no, damn it. You look good in the camo. You're going to keep the camo on.
Own it.
Find her. You got to own it. Find her on Twitter at Roxy Striar. She's wearing a magical crystal... Is that what that is?
I have the power.
She has the power. She's Roxy Striar.
Hello. More importantly, people want to know if you stole my spray tan this week.
Who, me?
Yeah, that's what they want to know. I guess they're calling you tan.
Oh, I was in Brazil. And I was in La Jolla last weekend.
Just admit it. I smell the spray tan from here.
You do not. No, that's my cologne. I just have really cheap cologne.
I'm kidding.
You smell good.
Great.
It doesn't smell like spray tan.
All right, we got
I
a
didn't
lot
get
to
a spray
talk
tan
about.
this week.
For all the people that are wondering, this is not a permanent change. The plan is always Thursday, but look, we have schedules, and sometimes they get a little crazy, and we want to make sure that we're able to do the show and that we're here. So sometimes we have to change the time. So our apologies, but look, deal with it. Enjoy the show. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started.
Brightens your day now, 10 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm like wide awake now.
Start your day off right.
Feeling good. Feeling so good. You
I
know
think
what else?
that's the coffee.
This is water. You know what else we're feeling good about? Batman v Superman plot and synopsis. Gang, we don't have to wait until March 25th, 2K16 to figure out what might be going on. They released some information this week, Mike.
A little bit, yeah.
What do you think?
I'm like, it's more and more like when first time I came on here was a couple months ago, back in February, I think. And there were a couple weeks it was like, we were struggling to get some stuff out. The news was just not there, but now it's rolling.
Yeah.
The DC universe is just going, and to see this stuff again, they showed all the pictures, the suits again. I mean. There's so much information out there, but there's so much we don't know. It's like, okay, they did a synopsis, and there's hints that Doomsday's in it and stuff, so people are saying, but I'm just like, we still have no idea what's going on.
No.
I love that.
And actually, it's funny you mentioned Doomsday. One of our listener questions will be asking us about that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read the official quote about Batman v Superman. I'm going to do it in Quasto movie trailer voice, if you don't
ready.
mind. Here we go. Fearing the actions of a godlike superhero left unchecked, Gotham City's own formidable, forceful vigilante takes on Metropolis's most revered modern-day savior, while the world wrestles with what sort of hero it really needs. And with Batman and Superman at war with one another, a new threat quickly arises, putting mankind in greater danger than it's ever known before.
Brilliant.
Not me, you mean the quote. The quote was brilliant.
No, you.
Oh,
the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Thank you very much.
It was really good.
Yeah, I think that sounds really neat. Not to be unhip. That
Like
sounds...
the way you just talked, or the actual quote now?
No, the quote is real neat because it plays back, Mikey, to the end of Man of Steel.
Absolutely. People are talking. I was going on some chat rooms, and they're saying they're fearing that the movie's going to be, Batman Superman fight for 30 seconds, and then it's them teaming up. Whereas the whole title, Batman versus Superman, the way that synopsis goes, it sounds like they're going to come to blows early on.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of, but I think that's kind of what I thought. It wasn't going to be a Dark Knight Returns thing where they're fighting in the end, towards the middle end of the movie. I think it's happened early on.
Well, I think it has to. I don't.
Absolutely.
I think they have to start kind of as enemies, and then we can work our way to friendship or teaming up or just having a common enemy, so they do pair together.
Yeah, and just everything that we've been gotten from that in the Suicide Squad, we're not going to get any kind of Batman origin or setup of his world. I think we're just going into it, and I think that's brilliant. We know the origin countless times over. Just get to it.
And don't forget, this quote, there's no way they're going to give away the entire movie in one paragraph.
No.
So,
and those are always, synopsis by the studios are always put out to appeal to everyone. They go over that word by word, and sometimes even the filmmakers don't even have anything to do with it. It's kind of like marketing.
Yeah.
They don't really have anything to do with it. It's people in an office over here in Burbank that are writing that up. So every time we read movie synopsis, it's always I think that's going to happen.
You don't think this quote comes from Snyder?
No.
Really?
I think that's a team of people that have, marketing and because they scrutinize over every word in that.
But I'm saying I think
said.
he would have to have final say over what they release.
Oh, I'm sure you were, so that's good. Here's my name, sign off on it. But I don't think he was sitting there writing that up.
Really?
Nope.
Well, yeah.
I could be completely wrong. He seems very hands-on between releasing the pictures on Twitter and everything. I could be completely wrong.
It's not like he read this for the first time the same moment that we read this.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course, he does have some sort of final say in what does get out there, but I think he's busy. I think he's like, okay, you do this,
That goes without saying.
Yeah, I know he's busy.
And they also say he co-wrote it with David Goyer. They say it will not follow Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. So anyone who knows that, it's not gonna. They don't want to make it predictable and just follow that story.
I think a great example of that is what Marvel does with when they called it Age of Ultron. Mm-hmm. There was a storyline a couple years ago, Age of Ultron, but the movie was nothing like that. They're just taking, and like Civil War coming up, they're taking the seeds of certain things that happened in that book, maybe a tone of it, and putting it. We're not going to get any close to adaptation.
It's a nod.
Some people happy, some people not.
Right.
But can't please everybody. And of course, like we mentioned, it's obviously Lex Luthor is there.
Right.
But now there's a lot of questions about Doomsday, and there's one rumor that they're saying Doomsday could end up being General Zod's corpse, and then. Or another question is Brainiac manipulating Batman and Superman into fighting each other? So there's a lot of what ifs.
I had heard one that his Zod's body was recovered, and they did experiments with the DNA, the Kryptonian DNA, to create Doomsday. I heard that one out there.
Yeah.
I think Lex Luthor is going to be. They're not setting him up as the bad guy. I think he's going to be a through line throughout the DC universe. He'll always be there, which I think is smart. He's going to be that.
Yeah, I don't think.
Look at this alien. What he did. Look at me. I'm a human. I'm the good. Let me help us and rebuild. And
I'm
all
a philanthropist.
Yeah,
I agree, and I think he's signed on to 6 movies, so he's going to be there for a long time. If not 3, then 6.
I would say almost be a reverse Nick Fury in these films. Always be there,
but you don't know what he's really.
Right. I'm not saying put him as a good guy. He'll be behind the scenes. He's the ultimate bad guy, but let him be the smiley face in front of the public with these, Batman, Superman, are the bad guys.
Keep him shady.
To them.
I also want to watch his character grow and develop and turn more evil as we go along. So I think that's great. We're getting him early on. We'll get to see his arc.
Completely agreed. You know what else came out this week? That is awesome. Thanks to our friend Humberto Gonzalez from Heroic Hollywood.
I missed him last week.
Oh, it was a great show.
I saw the tweets going on. He was like, I'm in town. You're like, come on the show. And I was just like, no, I can't be there.
It was a great... We're going to have him back.
Did we or did we not ask you to come on the show?
You did.
Mm-hmm, we did.
He is
we asked you always.
He's a big man.
He made you look small.
I know.
He made him look small.
You were just that was that
you guys were really mean to me about my height last week. It was sad. I'm just a little thing.
We'll get you an apple box next time. He was amazing. It was such a great episode. It was a pleasure to have him, and thank you again, Humberto. But yeah, he released on Heroic Hollywood's Instagram this week these amazing BVS promo images. Now, we've already seen similar ones, but these are the kind of promo images you would want to have posted up on your wall.
Right, they're really cool.
Like, there's the first one with Superman, false god, and just so dope. And then of course the bat. So it really kind of gives you an idea as to what the the premise is going to be.
Yeah.
The people have obviously turned on Superman, and Batman is supposed to be the vigilante that's saving the day, if you will.
Right.
So almost like a public smear campaign, if you will.
I love that one says fear the bat, and then the other side says save our city. So it's, everyone divided on the way that they view him.
Yeah. But think about, I'd love to have those framed. Put
Oh
them
my
on the
gosh,
wall.
absolutely.
Jesus.
I'm sure that Gertler already has them on his wall.
If he found a way, by the way, follow at Adam Gertler. He's out fighting crime somewhere. He's doing something this week. I don't know. What is he doing? We don't know.
Probably followed you to Brazil.
He's
No, he
working.
really is out of the country somewhere,
Oh,
though.
is he?
Yeah, I think he's in Spain on some mission.
Oh, well, he's probably wearing a mask and a cape. Mm-hmm. He's doing a good job.
He actually is in that poster. That is Adam Gertler.
Batman Gertler. So, yeah.
They fooled us.
So, shout out to Heroic Hollywood and El Maimbe for posting those awesome pictures and being on the show last week. I mean, what else is there to say about those? They're pretty self-explanatory.
They speak to themselves, yeah.
And you know what else is pretty self-explanatory is a 205-mile-per-hour beast.
Woo!
That-
Going fast.
Those pictures they inside that car were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
I
Looks
agree.
like a jet on the inside.
It's fantastic. I think they did a great job with that thing.
It might be my favorite one.
It's a great cross between the Nolan films and the Burton films,
Mm-hmm.
where it is kind of realistic, but it also looks. I hate to use the term comic booky, but it's got that. He didn't go and custom make fins on the back of it, but it's got this swoop feel to it. I think
Yeah.
it's great.
Pretty incredible. Here's the specs. Released from the 2015 Licensing Expo in Vegas. It's 20 feet long, which makes it 3 foot longer than a damn Escalade.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 20 feet long. It weighs 7,000 pounds, whereas an Escalade weighs 5,500. It could reach 205 miles an hour. The outside fully armored, and of course, it's listed as coming from Wayne Enterprises.
How do I get inside of that?
Are we still talking about the car?
Hey now, there was a great. Go online, guys. You'll be able to see it.
Yes.
And they talk about they give like almost kind of like the Batman Superman movie synopsis, a synopsis of the vehicle inside the world of the movie, and how Bruce kind of took some stuff from Wayne Tech, and how he's got a great little write-up. Anytime you see the picture of the car online, you'll be able to find that synopsis with it. One thing though, did you guys see they had, of course, they had the suits again, looking fantastic. You could see like on Wonder Woman's shield all this Greek inscriptions and stuff. But I had reading some comments, and there's still people. And you could say you're not sold on the movie if you don't like Zack Snyder, you don't like Man of Steel. I get that, and that's your opinion. I respect it. But this one guy was like, "Nope, Ben Affleck doesn't have blue eyes. I'm out. I'm not doing it." And I was like, "If you
Valid
are so
reasoning.
much,
Who looks at people in the eye? I
it's
don't.
like
Are you
the
kidding me?
eyes, because in that thing,
Who makes eye contact in 2015?
You've got Affleck in there, and he's got brown eyes. But this guy was like, "No, it's not blue." And I'm like, "That's you see that look." It's the three of them. It's right out of the comics. You can't say that.
I think now they're going to do reshoots with color contacts
Jesus.
based on
kind of
that.
mentality with fans.
Haters gonna hate, man.
I hate that. I just come on, look. It is the most realistic interpretation of the costume from the comic book ever.
Have you heard hate on this car or just on Ben Affleck's blue eyes?
It's the suits.
that aren't?
And I have some friends that don't like Wonder Woman, and still I'm just like, but there's red and there's blue that you guys wanted.
Yeah.
In the original picture that was released at Comic-Con last year, they kind of muted the colors. It's like, is it going to be red and blue? Then there we see it. It's red and blue. And fans are still just...
Well, I don't see how anyone can hate on that Batmobile. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it looks awesome. Yeah.
And I don't see how you could hate on someone for not having blue eyes, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Really?
To further your point, Johnny, Adam
up?
Rosen in the chat says, "Who makes eye contact with Batman?"
Good, thank
Really,
you.
yeah.
Fear the bat, for God's sake.
Absolutely.
Good point.
You see Batman, you put your head down, you walk on.
Yeah, it does. Yes,
That's what
sir.
I'm
You just
doing.
keep moving.
Sorry, Mr. Affleck, your brown eyes look nice this evening, but I'm not looking. That's where I'd be. I'd back
Yeah.
up.
Good point.
There's a lot of different things we're looking at. It's
Jesus.
not his eyes.
Well, from BVS, we move on to the Suicide Squad. Couple cool things this week. So, we found out weeks ago that Common was going to be cast in the movie. Everyone assumed he was going to be Black Manta.
I didn't think that was an assumption. I thought that was announced
I forgot
at the
he was
time.
cast in it because I hadn't seen him in anything.
Well-
and then he started just popping up, and I'm just like,
As you can see
Yeah,
by
that
that
picture.
illustration, he apparently is going to be playing a Abel Torrance, a.k.a. the Tattooed Man, because apparently he's been spotted on set with a massive snake tattoo on his head. And Common is bald already.
This
so-
is still speculation, but
right. Some people said Bronze Tiger.
But he's got a freaking snake tattoo on his head.
that is true.
Yeah, I think I think the safe money's on Tattoo Man.
I think so too. I just think it's interesting because we've had so many things and theories and that have been proved dead wrong. So I don't want to claim that we know anything we don't know at this point.
Let me ask you guys this, because there's been a lot of talk with Suicide Squad and David Ayer having gone to defend it, where people are saying that the movie's already ruined because of what's out there.
Hell no.
And what I'm curious is, I mean, when Cap was filming Civil War in Atlanta, we got the whole fight scene between him and Crossbones. Why are fans not going, Civil War's ruined for us? I mean, we've seen, the squad outside with that downed airplane. We've seen some mutant soldiers walking the set. Now you saw Batman and Joker on the car. And now a little bit of this. So we really haven't seen, why are people saying that the movie's already ruined?
No way.
We don't know anything.
Well, it's like they released a statement saying, look, we have a lot of secrets still. When you film in Toronto, you know stuff's going to get out there.
Especially when you're outside. I mean,
they were okay with that.
And they were smart when they released that set picture when we last talked about it with the whole cast. Because they knew they were going to be filming outside, so they beat everyone to the punch, which was very smart.
I know that people are going to say that I'm a millennial, whatever. I love spoilers. I like it. I like to know what's going on. I like to be in the know.
Gap here with us then.
Yeah, I love to be in the know.
I don't.
I really, really do.
We're the same age.
I know.
If they were going to leak the entire movie, then obviously that's one thing. But I like getting these little bits and pieces. I think it's great. It keeps me excited. There's been no movies in 2015, no live action for DC. There isn't going to be. So I need something.
Yeah. I feel you.
We're DC movie news.
Well,
By the way, we're not Meet the Movie Press, if anybody was asking, since that is behind us still.
If Common is playing Tattooed Man, that really speaks to how many characters might be in Suicide Squad. I mean, this is a fascinating... This came out of nowhere, really. I don't think anyone expected this. And what's cool about his character, I don't know which way they're going to go with it, but the classic... Tattooed Man, he became exposed to these chemicals, and that allowed him to control the substance and form real objects. So he scrawls these tattoos on himself that ended up becoming useful objects, which in a modern world with amazing film editing, and that could be some pretty cool stuff.
Just thinking about that, and there was one issue where he fought Green Lantern and Batman that was really cool. Drawn by Ethan Van Skeever, I believe his name is. It was really a great way to depict the tattoos, but I'm kind of drawn back to and I hate to say that I saw it, Elektra. There was a guy with tattoos that would, they'd come out of his body and stuff. And it was done cool then, but that was 10 years ago, so we kind of seen it. But, I'm sure they'll come up with something cool with it.
Yeah, but haven't we seen most things in film these days?
Sure. Yeah.
I think that it's awesome. There's just a lot of tattoos going around, though.
If you could tattoo an object on your body that you could use...
Well, where are you going? Are you going to prison? Are you going to... it depends.
I don't know.
Am I on an island?
I would want just a massive bowl of ice cream on my chest, just any time.
That's what you would get.
Yeah.
I would get a sword on my arm.
Okay,
on this arm.
Way more reasonable. You're going to get ice cream?
I'm a pacifist.
He's hungry.
Maybe like a cell phone?
It's going to go out. This can be dated in 2 years, a cell phone.
Ice cream.
Yeah, but just so I could use it wherever I was.
Ice cream can come in handy anytime. Who needs a cell phone? Come on.
I go Johnny if we have to pick between the 2 years.
Yeah, especially if you give me some toppings.
What?
Give me some like peanut butter cup on there.
Can I get a tattoo?
Right here, right above my boob. Just a nice ice cream bowl. Let me go to town.
I'm going to tattoo Batman on me.
That's fair. Oh, yeah, then you can...
Now whose team are you on?
Anyways.
Now whose team are you on?
Yeah, you'll make some eye contact. Speaking of...
I don't know. That sounded like something.
Batman's on your... So Will Smith, we all know he's playing Deadshot. We got a little bit of a action shot here from the set, which it's pretty cool looking. And also we had an interview with Jai Courtney, which he had an interesting quote. He said, he wasn't familiar with DC Comics, so basically he had to play catch up after taking on the role of Captain Boomerang. But he does say the character's dark side is thoroughly examined in the movie, and to quote him, it gets really kind of dark and gritty and awesome.
Until he said this, I didn't realize that I haven't heard much from Jai at all.
Yeah.
He has been really kept under wraps about whatever's going on. And I wonder why that is.
I don't know if that quote was wise, though, with knowing how passionate the fans are. Well, I don't know. You want to maybe kind of lie, like, oh, yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but then if he was to go and give in the comics of Captain Boomerang, is kind of, he's got the scarf, he's got the little pilot's hat that he wears, if people were to give him a stack of Captain Boomerang comic books. So I think it's kind of cool that he does his own thing. That's not a character like Batman or Green Lantern where the history is so rich and you want to take all that in. His take on it, and if you guys doubt this guy, don't go see I guess he's in the Divergent series and stuff like that. Go see Jack Reacher.
No, I think he's amazing in that series.
See Jack Reacher or
Seen
Spartacus.
it. I think he's amazing in that series.
What series? Divergent?
Yeah, and
I
Insurgent.
haven't seen those movies.
What?
No.
So good.
I mean, he definitely fits the role for Captain Boomerang. I just found it interesting. I wonder if he's going to get any backlash from fans
for
for
saying
the interview.
that.
Like, why
Right.
would you say you don't know anything?
I would rather that than we have a lot of these actors that come up as like, oh, of course I was a fan of the comics growing up. I always wanted to play a superhero. And that's not true. And they're just trying to get the fans in their side. So at least this guy's being honest.
That's true. I appreciate honesty.
And I would rather him come and go, I'm in this world now. I've met the fans. I love this world.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone. He's from Australia, and the comics were not as big as they were here in the States. I mean, as Americans, it's our mythology as we grew up with.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So I grew up with comics, but he might not have, and I admire that he's not saying that. That he goes out and says, I'm honest. Hey, I'm a fan now.
That's
so
a really
I
good
think
point.
That's great.
Very good point. So we got the Will Smith Deadshot picture, which is pretty cool. I think we got it up there at some point. There he is. Boom. That is
repelling action.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to. No, I've always wanted to do that. I think he looks awesome. It makes me want to just like sit on his lap and go down the thing. Whee! Yeah, I said it. I think he looks completely badass. Like, great.
That's great.
We've seen a lot of different images of him. I love watching him in action.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a great year next year between those two films coming out.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, speaking of good stuff, Comic-Con is coming up in just
a month.
Weeks
a month?
Are we 4 weeks away?
Yeah, what's the date today?
It's the 9th to the 12th.
Less than a month.
4 weeks. 4 weeks from today, essentially, you'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
4 weeks from tomorrow is Hall H.
That's what we're talking about.
People in the chat are still talking about the image, though, and they wanted us to know that they don't like the mask. A lot of them don't like the mask.
For Deadshot?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I mean, just from that image alone, you don't see the whole thing.
He's had so many different images of that mask, and when I first saw it in the picture, I was like, oh. But then they posted a picture of a comic artist drew that I was like, oh, well, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
They took that version of it. Okay. It's not the one that I grew up with Deadshot, but there was I don't know the artist or comic book cover, but it was him holding the gun like this, and it was almost looked like a painted picture of him, and it was pretty much in.
We say that all the time, and I start to wonder, does it legitimize something? If you didn't like it in the comic books, but it does appear in the movies, is that just the fallback? Well, that's exactly what it looked like, so I guess that they're being true to that? Or at some point, do you have to realize that we didn't like it then, we don't like it now? I'm not saying specifically about the mask, but just in general.
Good point.
Very good point.
Good point. So Hall H this year at Comic-Con, Marvel is not doing anything. They're not having any big event. So that leaves the door open for DC to take over Hall H. I don't think anything is official, but it would make sense if they have a big event at Hall H.
It was brought up a lot in big talk this week about the Marvel's not going to be there. I thought we knew that like months ago. They said they're not doing it.
Yeah,
it was like right after their El Cap presentation at the El Cap with the Marvel slate. So
I think people
really
thought
new.
they were lying. I honestly think that people didn't believe them.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody was like, oh, Marvel says they're not going to do anything. And now it's kind of sinking in, and it's like, wait, really?
And they made a good point. They really don't have anything. People are saying that it's the big talk. Umberto had mentioned, I think, on his site, that he thinks, or the rumor is that Marvel is scared of DC. Now, being a DC fan, loving both, I don't think they're scared.
There's
I just
nothing
think they
to do
go,
with
you
that.
know what, we don't have anything to show.
Here's the thing, Marvel's already been so successful. Right. I don't think no one has to be afraid of anyone. No. Just put out your... There's an old adage of focus on doing what you do and focus on being as good as you could possibly be, and the rest will take care of itself.
It is a Hall H thing. Last year was my first year, and I had friends that I went with last year. They've gone years, and Marvel has built the domination of Hall H. It started as Iron Man, and they were like in the middle of Hall H day, and now it's always Marvel closed Hall H. It was their big end of. Last year, WB went first, and we got very little on Batman and Superman, but they didn't really have much to show, but it was cool what they did with the Trinity coming out. But Marvel closed it big. I think DC now, but from now on, it's going to be how many years will Marvel not go? Because they have this thing, that fan event that they did where they announced their slate, so maybe they're trying to shy away from that. People also talk that now that Marvel's with Disney, they've got D23, which is a big thing here in Anaheim.
Exactly. Someone just mentioned that, yeah.
As a company, they're trying to go, well, we're keeping that in our area, we can control it. and trying to bring fans to D23. So it's a business strategy.
Well, we got a comment here from El Machas in the chat roll saying DC TV is going to have a massive event on Saturday night, but DCCU hasn't confirmed anything. So yeah, nothing official yet, but it would make sense, and you two are definitely going to be there. I'm trying to find a way to get to Comic-Con. Unfortunately, I don't plan ahead. I've never been able to get in before. I did some WWE interviews last year, but I didn't actually get in. I'm trying to find a way to get into Comic-Con.
I believe in you.
Stuff. I don't know how to do it. I'm going to try to
We'll work it out. Yeah. I did want to ask a Twitter question right now, just because it is relevant. Coming from @SeanRenDTTB.
Okay.
With DC owning San Diego Comic-Con this year, do you think they'll reveal who Green Lantern is at their Justice League panel?
No.
I don't think we're going to talk about Justice League yet. I think they're going to do Batman vs. Superman. We're going to get a full trailer.
Yeah, don't jump
ahead.
And
I think we'll get a Suicide Squad trailer.
You think?
Oh, because they'll be done filming soon, or there's enough they filmed to put together a trailer. We're going to get something.
I'm thinking just a new BVS trailer would be fine, and then maybe like a 20-second teaser of Suicide Squad.
Oh, you would be satisfied?
Yep.
I think
I don't need much
cast will be there.
Satisfy me ahead of time. Like,
I could see them bringing both casts there.
Jesus, really?
Because last year the three of them came out, they waved, they said hello, and they were gone. We got the posters and we got the little teaser from the movie. But I think this year, they're not going to have another one for Batman vs Superman. It's not going. It'll be out next March, so they're going to go guns blazing.
In chat roll, they're also saying Legends of Tomorrow is going to be at Comic-Con. So
yeah,
that's possible.
We're not at TV time yet, but TV time's going to rock Comic-Con. By the way, there's now trending a hashtag Johnny goes to SDCC 2015.
And I started I started a hashtag Get Quasto to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Get it rolling, everybody. Come on.
I don't know if you can start your own hashtag for it.
It's too late. I did. All right. Joseph Gordon-Levitt talks Sandman. As we know, he's producing the film, possibly appearing in the film.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it is it's a very complicated story, but he says that Morpheus is not going to punch anyone. It won't rely on any of the ordinary cliches. And therefore, there's going to be a lot going on. A lot of traveling into dreams, into hell, and all that kind of cool stuff. So
I got to say, they seem to be on the struggle bus with this movie. Every time
it's not an easy thing to do.
The struggle bus.
Mm-hmm. They seem to be on the struggle bus. I'm not doubting it in any way because I think he's amazing and I think that it will work out very well. But every time I hear something about it, it's like, we had a couple setbacks.
It seems like that mystic stuff of DC, everything is on the struggle bus. To piggyback what you said.
Now you're adapting my struggle bus terminology. Mm-hmm.
Someone also mentioned, how about a Preacher trailer at Comic-Con? Shit, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I think that show looks amazing just from that image that we saw and whatnot.
I think that show is going to be a hit because you don't have to be an expert on comics to love that show. You could tell. You could tell about
something
already.
I don't know very much about. I know
a lot of people
Jesse
don't.
Cutter, right? Is the character.
A lot of people.
Arseface. That's an Arseface.
Arseface. Yeah, a lot of people don't, but that's the beauty of the show. It's going to be.
So that for me is going to be kind of cool to see something not knowing anything going into it.
Yeah, when Gertler gets excited about something, I know that it's something worth getting excited about, and he's very excited about the show.
Good. I'll take his word for it.
Yeah, and when it comes to Sandman, take your time. Someone just mentioned in chat roll. I agree. I'd rather they struggle with Sandman than take out a half-ass film.
I completely agree with that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not worried about it. It just is interesting that every time I hear about it, it's like,
Sandman is Vertigo, right? So it's the offshoot. So they are not technically DC Universe in their movie franchise. It's just kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Same thing with Preacher, though.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited for it, so I don't want anybody to think that I'm hating on the movie. It just is interesting that I haven't heard anything like, oh yeah, we totally nailed this.
Then.
Right.
That is true. And with that said, Roxy, it's time for...
Oh no.
TV time, TV
time. And we're done. Stop it. All right, Constantine is no more.
Constantine gone.
Yeah.
It just,
I couldn't get into it.
It's so painful because we've been talking about it for so long, potentially leaving, and then to finally have the door be closed on it. It was like, it got dropped from its network. It was looking elsewhere. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I found that picture and thought it would be apropos.
I know. It's so sad. I feel really bad for the Constantine fans out there. Hashtag Save Constantine didn't work the way that they wanted it to. Of all the DC shows, though, this one was my least favorite, I will say.
It's that offshoot. It's, mystic stuff, and it's never... that's a tough sell, that kind of thing. It doesn't have the superheroes. It's not bright and flashy that they can market to kids really well.
People did love it, though. The people that loved it. And I'm not saying it was a bad show. I did enjoy it. There's just a lot of great TV out there.
I was wondering why, Sci-Fi didn't pick it up when there was that talk of that.
Well, that's the thing is, for a while there was a decent amount of hope that some other network would pick it up, but now the cast and the writers are being released from their contracts, so that means
it's
kibosh. It is what it is. I mean, look, there's so many DC shows on TV. They're not all gonna be hits,
Why? To me, that's the kind of character that could recur on Arrow or Flash.
Hell yeah, why not?
Bring him in. I mean, the actor was great, looked great. People loved him as the character, so bring him in for a couple episodes on Legends of Tomorrow. Throw him in there, popping up.
But different universe, right?
No, but you can still do. Okay, does anyone read Injustice? It's based on the video game. They did this comic books based on video games are always kind of they're just trying to sell comics.
Right.
This Injustice based on the game is phenomenal. It's basically Superman becomes this regime ruler. Batman's part of the Resistance Underground, and they've got these factions. Well, and every year they do 12 issues is a different arc. Season 3 was all with Magic and Constantine.
Nice.
And it was so good to see Batman and Constantine going at it.
That's cool. I didn't even know that.
Oh, he fits in perfectly.
Well, according to Cena Gang 54 in chat roll, you fit in perfectly as Shazam, so there you go.
Me?
Yep.
That's a new one. I haven't heard that one.
Kalinowski as Shazam.
I just thought that they had cast some of the same actors on that show as they did on Flash and Arrow.
On what show?
On Constantine.
The same actors?
Yeah, but for different roles, obviously. The same thing that they did with Gotham, so I thought that made it... I could be wrong.
No, but I mean, just take him by himself and pop him in to,
Agreed.
Because
he really was
very
great.
Good.
Yeah, he is great.
I think it works so good because he can just pop in and out, with the magic stuff, and it works great. And it would bring that magic to those shows that we haven't seen yet.
Agreed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Supergirl, we got a poster now. Poster was released, and the release date was it seemed like it was pushed back a bit. It's not going to debut until October 26th at 8:30 p.m. on CBS.
A little bit later than most fall shows.
Way later, and then moving to 8 p.m. the next week. But the poster's pretty cool. I feel like the universe is definitely divided on this.
Everyone. It's either you love it or you don't like it. So
I'm on the struggle fence.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. I think it's awesome.
I'm on.
You're on the struggle fence too?
No, please go.
I just think it looks great. I mean, I don't understand. You guys explain to me why you don't like it. I don't see it, what people are talking about.
I'm not saying that. I'm on the fence. I need to watch it because...
You didn't watch pilot?
No, I'm not going to watch some illegally downloaded, unreleased footage.
Me neither.
No, what I'm saying is I love the fact that it's a female superhero.
Sure.
I think that's fantastic that we're getting that out there. I'm not a fan of Supergirl, the character. I don't read her in the comics. Every time she showed up, it never really... The only thing I really cared for her was the death back with Crisis back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing is,
for this, I'll watch.
With it being on CBS, it's not going to be... I feel like nothing's ever going to be in peril. Because just the way CBS does things.
It's interesting to be CBS because CBS is known as a procedural network, and they skew their audience as very older. 40s, 50s, and 60s, their audience, especially with all their CSIs and that kind of show, and back with the Law and Order stuff. So to see this show on there...
Well, keep in mind, they also have comedies like Two Broke Girls.
Right.
Yeah.
So... The trailer looks really quirky. Let's put it that way.
It's a gamble for them, and I admire that.
A couple different things. Number one, the biggest problem with this show is going to be about the references to Superman, but the absence of his presence. People are going to get very frustrated with that very quick. From what I hear about the pilot, they mention him many, many times and where he is, but we're never going to see him. That's going to be really difficult.
Well, we got a few people in chat roll that have already seen the pilot.
Yeah.
One, Ken Killing says the pilot was all over the place. It can only get better. But then we had two people who said the pilot was really good. How the hell did they see the pilot?
So there's a couple other comments that I wanted to throw out there. This is from X Shiny X Diver X.
Wow.
Guys just can't handle lady things. So that's why you guys don't like this, because you can't handle lady things.
I love handling lady things.
You do? Is that
wait a minute.
Lady things.
I bet you do.
Thank you.
We could have gone into TV time there.
I think she looks perfect. I'll say that. Mm-hmm. Look alone, I think she looks perfect. I saw that they did a 3-minute trailer I loved her personality in that. I thought it was great.
She's
But
beauty.
I think, okay, you're talking about there's so much to crammed in the pilot. You got to understand, and guys, with a pilot, they've got 1 hour. And it used to be, back in the day, they would do a 2-hour pilot. Like the original Flash was 2 hours. That's enough time to tell all the characters and the story. But now networks like, nope, 1 hour. You got to sell it to 1 hour. So they've got to introduce every major character, introduce the major story arcs of what that show's going to be in 1 hour. And sometimes they don't even know if they're ever going to get another episode. So to cram the Superman stuff, that's for people who they need to throw that out there so people are brought into it with Superman. Look at Arrow, the first episode of that Arrow. I mean, Flash, we got a backdoor pilot when he was introduced on Arrow. And then they kind of retreaded it when they did his pilot. So pilots are never, to me, the best judge of what a show is. You've always got to get...
Look at Breaking Bad. That was comedic.
Oh my gosh,
it was rather comedic, and then look how it turned out.
Yeah. So I'm not on the fence to say I want to love it. I just haven't seen it enough to say one way or the other.
Oh, you'll love it because you love handling lady things, so you'll love it.
Here, sir.
Why is that bad to say?
No, I think it's awesome. It was like a Roxy comment.
Oh, it was a great comment. So The Flash. Roxy, I know you're going to be pumped about this.
TV.
I'll let you take it away. Well, I'll give you the setup and then you can go.
Give it to me.
All right, we're going to have a new love interest and a new hero for season 2. There's already been casting calls out. Number 1 for a, quote, classically handsome male in his 30 to 40s, cynical and having an edge. And they're also casting a spunky, fun, and funny female, Central City police worker with a scientific mind. Quote, think Felicity Smoke from Arrow. So 2 new characters coming in. I don't know whoever the classically handsome gentleman will be, but I am jealous.
Shout out to David Rappaport for being the best casting director in the business. Who was casting
Tell
this.
David to get Kalinowski's ass in there.
I'll hook it up if you want. Honestly, I'm a little nervous about this.
About which one?
About the love interest. Here's the deal.
Yeah,
I
have my thoughts on this too.
When we introduced Felicity Smoke on Arrow, they had zero intention on keeping her around.
I love the fact that it was a one-day co-star.
Yeah,
a one-day co-star.
She was a one-day co-star. She's the only one who's cast out of Canada.
Jesus.
And she is the most amazing thing that could have happened to that show. I love her character. This season, I had a little bit of an issue with her.
That story to me is fantastic.
Yeah, I love their relationship. How are we going to bring a Felicity Smoke onto The Flash and not want... Especially because Barry had a thing with Felicity, and now we're supposed to want him with Iris, and he's going to end up with Iris.
I'll say this. I think, of course, that was not meant to be seen by fans. That was for casting people to send to agents going, hey, this is who... the mold to go with actresses.
Right.
And what's going to happen is some actress is going to come in that's not going to be like that, and they're going to go, well, we were wanting a Felicity Smoke point, but actress X came in and she gave us something new and we went with that. That's what will happen, because that's what brings great characters, and when these actresses come in, it's like, okay, this is the breakdown, but I'm going to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not as worried about the hero coming in or whatnot. It's just the love interest. We had Linda Park this season.
Thank you for bringing that up. I was so disappointed with Linda, and I don't know if it was the actress moved on, but her dynamic, and yet they burned through a story kind of quick.
Marlise Joust, she did a good job.
I thought she was great. She was almost kind of like challenged him sexually. Like he was like, I think they slept together on like the second date or wanted to, and
we saw her with her shirt off.
Yeah, he's kind of like this geeky scientist. So it was different than complete opposite of Felicity, of Iris, of. Caitlin, so it's like,
but we know that she's going to be with Wally, so.
But we also know that Iris is supposed to be with Barry, but look what happened.
I know, but now we're casting another love interest. I'm just nervous. You guys know I'm a
CW
huge
show.
fan.
You have to have love interests.
Yeah, I get it.
It's not going to happen.
I get it, but I thought that love interest. I thought we were past that. I think that Iris is going to be mourning, obviously, because she lost somebody very big to her.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm excited, but I'm nervous.
What about the classically handsome guy? I'm not as nervous about that.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Never
you
nervous.
That on there?
Never nervous about that.
So
everyone's saying Jay Garrick. We saw the helmet tumble in. Ever since I was wrong on the Arrow 2 breakdown, or I think season 3 when I thought it was going to be Ted Kord with Blue Beetle and became Ray Palmer. I'm not going to jump out there and say what it is.
I have a question though. When it comes to something like this, since we're actors, how difficult do you think it will be to get into a room? Say to us, say you're the perfect, a guy like you, even not so much me, but you. I think you're more classically handsome than I am.
You're both very good looking.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But you would fit this role. So how difficult do you think it is? It's probably a pain in the ass.
Just from knowing my friends that have been out here, and the CW has a very unique vibe about them, what they are castable and what you're not castable on that show. The actress who plays Sarah Lance, she even said, the CW said that she was not right for their network. And now look at her. So you never know. But they've got the casting. They have their people that they've loved, that they've brought in for other roles before that maybe weren't right for that role, but they wanted to bring them on the show.
Especially
there's so much.
You think about, David has cast Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and Legends. So think about how many actors he knows that he has brought in for superheroes or for villains.
Right.
Just so many. So if you haven't been auditioning for him in those things, I'm sure it's outrageously difficult.
And then it's which agents have the ear for them, and then they've got the network of every now and then they'll see someone that they've never seen before to bring them in, or maybe they saw them on TV. They're watching TV, is like, wow, I like that actor. Who is that? So they'll kind of find out.
Right. He was telling me a story about a web series that he really liked. So he brought in these girls that he randomly saw them on this like rinky-dink web series. And so he brought them in. Casting directors do that. They see somebody in a play, whatever.
But then, okay, they're in the room, but who's to say that actor is right for the show because of they might think that it's a superhero show, so I've got to act a certain way. So I've seen so many actors, whether they're in workshops or whatever, that it's because they hear superhero, they don't know the background of it or the character of it. They go in and they do something that's, you would think, he's always would stand like this in the audition room, and that's not how you act. Superheroes, yes, it's a superhero show, but like Grant Gustin, he's just the guy.
Right, you have to be very subtle.
Yeah, and Oliver Queen or Stephen Amell, what he does, so there's so many different things. Grant Gustin did not have a big resume. He had Glee, and there's some other parts.
He
of
had 90210 also, which was a David Rappaport casting.
But so he could have known him for years. So it's just,
in other words, somehow get to know David Rappaport.
Exactly.
Speaking of auditions, Arrow, the audition sides for Arrow reveal possible villain dialogue. They're saying it could be Damien Dark, the leader of Hive.
This was already kind of revealed this past season a bit.
Okay.
Hive was talked about to be a big baddie for season 4.
Right. So this wasn't a surprise, but it was interesting to read these sides. This is the kind of leak that I actually don't love, though. I don't want to know. They could change the sides. They absolutely could.
And I was back. This was a couple of years ago now when I was not even in the room with casting for Flash, but they cast that net out for everyone. I had a friend in Atlanta who's like, "Hey, Mike, I know you're a big fan of the Flash. What can you tell me about Barry Allen?" So everyone had gotten these sides, and what was in the final show, much different. Some of the dialogue was there in different places, so they're just placeholders because they know those are going to get out. 9 times out of 10, you'll have your side, and it would say, Kalinowski across it in a watermark.
Right.
So it tries not get out, but somehow people casting pass to agents and they delete it.
Look, people get excited. I got to read voiceover for a couple DC animated projects. I got to read, and of course I didn't get it, but I got to read for Batman.
Don't say of course. You're really, really talented and brilliant and handsome.
Yeah, but
you go, boy.
But a character like Batman's going to go to probably someone with a name. But I gave a really good read. But I remember taking a picture of the sides just so I could show you guys.
Yeah,
it'd be like,
it's cool.
I didn't want to go public, but it's like because it was you keep quiet, but it was really neat.
I feel the same way. That back 2010 now, I auditioned for Green Lantern for Hal Jordan's 2 brothers, and I remember just seeing the sides, and it didn't even say Green Lantern on it, but I was just like, oh, this is awesome. But yeah, as a fan, to get that and to get that audition, it speaks to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, moving on.
What do we got?
Justice League Gods and Monsters.
So good.
So basically some YouTube shorts are released along with the animated film is coming up next month. And then they're going to follow that with a second season on Machinima. This is really, really cool. We got the picture. There's one shot there. They're calling it unfamiliar, untrustworthy, and perhaps unlawful. So here's the specs on this one. Superman is now the son of General Zod. Batman is the vampire version of the classic Batman villain, Kirk Langstrom. He's a scientist whose formula turned him into a vampire. Just a lot of wackiness. It's going to be on DVD and Blu-ray July 28th.
July 28th. Mark your calendars.
I'm a big fan of this stuff. I'm a big fan of Bruce Timm. That's what I grew up with in the animated series. I love that it's a different take. Some people are having problems with it. But Bruce Timm has always wanted to do Batman as a vampire. He tried to pitch it in the original series. There was a character from the 70s called Nocturna who turned Batman into a vampire. There's been different Red Rain with Batman as a vampire. But for a cartoon, they just couldn't get away with it. So here he's finally like, I was finally given carte blanche to do what I wanted with these characters. And I got into an interesting debate with a good friend of mine. Mike, I hope you're listening or watching this.
Was it you?
No, my friend Michael Vogel. Huge Superman guy like I am Batman. And he loved the Superman one. And if you've seen it, it's not the Clark Kent with the Christopher Reeve, bright and smiley. And I go, how can you like this different version, but you hate Man of Steel? And he goes, Mike, I love a great story. with Superman. I don't care. So his problem with the Man of Steel was the story. So
I agree with that.
I step back and I go, okay, I accept that. To me, you stated your point, and it's such a great point for fans. So these are great. I mean, it's not even Bruce Wayne; it's Kirk Langstrom, who they're kind of doing a take on the Man-Bat. But I think it's, hey, it's apples and oranges compared to normal stuff. It's just a different version of Batman.
Yeah, why not?
Batman Superman. I love it.
It's like when they released the animated film for the kids. What the hell's the name of it?
Animal Instincts.
The Animal
They got a
Instincts.
new
We
one
looked at it,
coming
we're
out.
like,
They got
all right,
another one.
Oh, that one.
not our cup, but hey.
Exactly.
That's why I keep getting so upset with people who are hating on any single costume or about the Joker or whatnot. It's about the story. And if the story rocks, then the story rocks.
What I love about it is, and I hate to do a Marvel DC thing, but Marvel, everything that's out there, even their cartoons, they've changed them to kind of follow the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas DC is going, hey, we've got our movie version, which is kind of dark. We're not going to go really light with it, but we got these cartoons. And we have a lot of friends. It's interesting on my Facebook. And I kind of laugh about it, but they're like, oh, I saw this, really dark. I don't like this. And I realized that, they're parents. They're my age, but they're parents. So I'm like, at first I'm like, why are you being such a baby about it? It's awesome. It's like, wait a minute, they're watching it in completely different eyes than I am.
So they like the animal.
So they
trailer.
love stuff like that.
In other
So I'm
words,
like,
we haven't grown up. They have.
Right. So DC, hats off to them for giving a cornucopia of different versions of your favorite characters that you could watch with your kids, or you could watch with your friends.
That's very true.
I love it.
And also for the action figures you want to make.
We got a great comment in chat roll from the Nightwing02. It says, "Hey Roxy and Johnny and Mick."
All right.
Why?
okay.
Why do you think that's so funny?
Because he calls him Mick. His name's Mike.
Well, he
all right.
probably just spelled it
I
wrong.
know that, but it's hilarious.
I'm the worst speller in the world, so hey, buddy, I completely understand.
Hey,
I
it's
plead
all
the
right.
fifth when it comes to people pronouncing things wrong and spelling things wrong. I have no problem with
especially
that
my
at all.
last
It's all good, Nightwing. I appreciate it. I just thought it was hilarious. All right, anyways.
Oh, my gosh.
Moving on. We're almost done here. Warner Brothers promises tons of Wonder Woman merchandise coming up during the DC slate. Like,
Suck it, Marvel.
yeah, like standalone.
That's what they're saying.
What
about
just happened?
They're saying that because Marvel, look at those characters. There's nothing out there for women.
Yep.
That was your version of TV time. One more time. What is?
Suck it, Marvel.
But don't you think there should be a lot of Harley Quinn merchandise too? You know,
We're gonna get
that shit will sell.
Oh
man.
my gosh! Are you kidding?
Are you crazy?
I'm sorry.
It already is.
There was a toy that came out for Avengers. It was Cap on a motorcycle chasing Ultron. That was Black Widow scene in the movie. They took Black Widow out of that and put Cap on it because girls don't buy bull. Whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
know so many women. Good for DC for getting out there with this stuff, man. Because I want to see a girl with some Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Bras and.
I want to be that
bikinis
girl
and
wearing
stuff.
that.
Absolutely.
Oh, Wonder Woman
T-shirts
bikinis.
and
Oh man,
mad.
that's what was.
Hot Topic's got a line of.
I was just gonna say
something
that.
That's Poison Ivy and Robin.
I was
and
literally
Wonder
just going to
Woman.
say that.
Yeah.
I
pretty
love
awesome.
that. Yeah.
We can handle those female
So
things.
DC, good for
like
you.
mentioned
Get out
earlier.
there. They're going to they're getting ahead of the curve because now it's talking. They're saying, oh, with Cap Civil War, there's going to be lots of female stuff. It's like, okay, under Marvel, nice to play catch up. DC's going full guns. We're
Yeah.
coming out. Suicide Squad. I mean, Hot Topic. They're going to own that thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's going to be
I can't even believe though that it's 2015 and we're still having this conversation.
because
like,
girls
it should
don't
be done.
buy toys. Look on the toy shelves. You have a look. Every time I go to Target, whatever, there's hundreds of Slave Leias.
Yeah.
And they're releasing the same thing with Han and Luke. Kids just don't buy that.
I'm
and
not
I
talking
get from a
toys.
toy, but
I'm
I
talking
get the toys
clothing.
merchandise. I know that's completely
Because
different.
Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, they're both beautiful. They're both hot. Women will be buying those clothes. Whatever
Here's
they
a
do.
great point. Target got into this big controversy. It was all the females, but it said I only date superheroes. And it was kind of like everyone's like, oh, it's sexist and moms are complaining. Well, recently Target released a shirt and it was all like, I want to say it was all just men's superheroes. And it's a guy's shirt. And it's like, there was Apache Chief was on this damn shirt. So ridiculous characters, but there were no women. So it's interesting to see that in his market, it was a men's shirt.
Right.
So it's interesting to see where this is going because for a while there, women were like, "Oh, all it is I want to train." Oh, it was trained to be Batman's wife was a shirt, and it's like they're not trained. No,
Yeah, that's
no,
worse
hold
than
on,
what
no,
you just
no, Let me
said.
say this: I don't see that as she wants to be Batman cooking Batman's kitchen. She wants to. It means trained to be Batman's wife to be an equal.
But then it would be trained to be Batman's partner.
But that's Robin. I'm being his wife, a woman who can equally marry a man and stand up and be equal to him.
Yeah, but
because
like
women, that's what I looked for. I mean, you got to look for that. Just say that you want your equal. You don't want subservient in the kitchen.
I have a hard time with that.
She's waiting at the Batcave when she comes home. No.
We have a comment in chat roll that say that they already announced they're going to be basing Suicide Squad merchandise for adults, so they're going to be aiming at that.
And they should.
Well, how are you going to base Suicide Squad stuff for kids?
Right. Very true. Anyways, last story. Well, not even a story of the week, but Roxy wanted to throw this in there because she's a fan of Entourage.
Yeah.
I've never seen an episode, but remember Entourage's Aquaman? There you go. There's the picture. Check it out.
Entourage opened this past weekend, and on the show, in that world, it was supposedly the biggest opening ever. Aquaman made more money than any other movie that ever opened, and people are feeling a little nostalgic about that. And some people were saying, because it's in the movie, it's Vinny Chase and James Cameron's directing and whatnot, and they were like, oh, we'd rather see this version. I think that's mean, and I think that costume looks like crapola, so...
Right.
It was meant as a tongue-in-cheek joke. I mean,
of course it was. Fun picture to throw up there. So but
I love Entourage, and shout out to them.
Do you want to hit a couple fast questions, and then we got to close out?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we got time for 2.
Let's do 2 questions. Yeah.
Actually, I want to take this one from the chat right now because it's interesting. From Vegetable Tube says,
Vegetable Tube.
How crazy will they let Harley be with the kids watching?
Are you talking in Suicide Squad?
I'm assuming that's what we're talking, or just in general, her character.
Have they announced whether it's PG-13 or R?
It's gonna be R. It's not gonna be R. No way it'll be R.
No way. Oh, I thought you said it would be. No way. 0 chance.
Just because of the
honestly,
box office.
You can get away with a lot more now, and I'm sorry, but don't base it on kids. Don't base Suicide Squad on what kids are going to watch.
They won't.
You can't.
I mean, look at Harley Quinn, what we got in the games, in the TV show. We'll at least get that. And that's what people love. They haven't seen an R-rated Harley Quinn anywhere, so, there's never been this R-rated comic with her, so she'll be fine. But again, she's not the deranged one. I mean, she is, but next to the Joker, that's where...
I think she's going to have her moments where she makes Joker look
she's got that bat,
tame.
So she's going to be smashing someone in the head with that thing.
I really hope that they don't hold back. Because that would be the biggest issue. But I think that with Margot Robbie playing her, there's no way she's going to let that.
Again.
She could bring it.
I know.
She
does tingly things to anybody, yeah.
Well, it's funny. A good friend of mine who's actually going to come on this show as a guest very soon, she is obsessed with Harley Quinn. She's not thrilled with Margot Robbie's outfit. She's like, it doesn't really fit the classic Harley Quinn.
I think, oh my gosh, I completely disagree.
Well, that's why we'll have her on the show.
They made a great picture of it. They took the cartoon, the video game, and the comic, and they took aspects of all of them and made their own version. I think it's great.
I think she looks awesome. I think she looks amazing. Okay, moving on. At Greg Nathan says, this is the question you were referencing before.
Yep.
Do y'all think BVS needs Doomsday? If he's in there, he'll need a decent amount of screen time and might take away from Batman and Supes.
I don't know. It's so... I mean, the movie's probably going to be 2 hours 15, 2:20. I'm assuming around there. We're not going to get Superman's origin. We're not going to get Batman's origin. So, I mean, that's a lot of time in there. I think in this movie, I think what's going to happen is it's going to hit the ground running when it opens. The first scene, the world is there. We're going to go. We're not going to get any exposition.
Oh, we have to.
I don't even think on Lex we'll get much background. So, I mean, Doomsday is kind of mindless as it is. So we're not really... He's more of a weapon that Lex would point and shoot it,
Right. We need somebody big enough that would actually team Batman and Superman together if they do hate each other so much.
Absolutely.
So it can't be some wimpy villain. I think that...
Too early to tell, really.
I think he'll get a decent amount of screen time, and I think that it will be okay.
Yeah.
I want him to get a decent amount of screen time.
There you go. Is that
it? One more? No, never mind.
Yeah,
we'll save it till next week. We'll save it.
All right. With that said, let's talk about ourselves. Go ahead, Mike Kalinowski. Put yourself over.
Again, at MikeKalinowski.com at Mike Kalinowski is Twitter, right? Yeah,
there you go, buddy.
Yeah, I'll be on Twitter. I love you guys when you guys are always shouting out to me on that and chatting back and forth. And I try and get back to everyone as much as I can on that.
Make sure you do that because otherwise he stops coming in.
I don't. It's not why. But again, I just thank you guys all for tuning in every week. It's awesome. I love being here.
We love having you. People have been requesting this, so this is what I'm cutting. kitten would sound like. Because it's not Bane cat, they want a Bane kitten. So that's what a Bane kitten would sound like. I'm at
Sounds
Roxy
like she's a
Striar.
fur ball.
Okay, well, I'm the best fur ball that ever existed.
Yep, that's right.
So find me everywhere at Roxy Striar.
Very cool. At DC Movies SK, Facebook.com/DC Movies SK. I'm at Jay Quasto. And if you're in Denver, I'm going to be at the Denver Comedy Works June 25th to 28th. It's the best comedy club in the country. Please come out and see me, and we'll high five, we'll bear hug. It'll be really, really fun. Woo-hoo. And I'm headlining the Brea Improv again on July 29th. So if you're in Southern California, I'd love to see you. Otherwise, go to thethumbwrestler.com. Check out my film's trailer, and I'll love you for it. Otherwise, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You know we're going to see you next week. Goodbye, DC Universe. We'll see you next time.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.